Hey, I've got something to say. Now, Attack on Titan is a series that's very near and dear to my heart. In fact, I'd wager it's one of my favorites, but there's always been something that's bothered me about one of the characters. In a series ripe with death, where your favorite character can be ripped away from you at a moment's notice, there's always been one character that just seems to survive a bit too frequently, considering the situations he's put in. In fact, some would say that he has plot armor. That's right, today we are talking about everyone's favorite human tank, Reiner Plot Armor Braun. Let's get to it. Now, if you don't know, and I think the phrase plot armor gets thrown around too loosely anyway, so I don't blame you if you don't, the definition of plot armor is used to refer to the phenomenon in fiction whereby the main character is allowed to survive dangerous situations because they're needed for the plot to continue. Now, the first question we've got to ask ourselves is, does Reiner Braun have plot armor? And, well, you saw the title, right? I mean, the answer is obviously, well, it's only kind of, because if we're going by definition alone, Reiner does have a bit of plot armor, but it's more complicated than that. And to explain, let's look at a few examples that people bring up when they discuss Reiner's plot armor, starting with in this first scene, Reiner, Jean, and Armin are facing the female Titan. Reiner attacks and is suddenly grabbed before being squashed like a bug. Then suddenly, he escapes, completely unharmed by the crushing blow he just received, and escapes with Armin and Jean in tow. Now, here's the question. How did Reiner survive this? I mean, he is the armored Titan after all, so he has the power of regeneration like all other Titans too, but as far as I know, that regeneration is not immediate. The way I see it, this man should have had his entire head smushed like a grape. Yet he just comes out slicing out of this impossible predicament like it's a minor inconvenience. It doesn't really make sense, but I can forgive it. See, Annie isn't trying to kill Reiner here, she's trying to get a message from him. Yeah, crushing him completely and having blood go everywhere doesn't make much sense logically, but then again, when does a series about half-naked giant men need to make sense logically? Plus, it just makes Reiner look cool, so who the hell cares? I don't think it was the intention in this scene to give Reiner such an improbable situation to get out of. In my eyes, not a single human being, not even a Titan shifter, could realistically survive that, but I'm not sure that's the point. Reiner had to get the message across to Annie about Eren's location, and this was the way that was thought of by Isayama to how to get that across without blowing his cover. It's not plot armor because I don't think Reiner was supposed to even be in danger here. It was supposed to just look like danger, but it ended up looking a lot worse in the anime than it was supposed to. And besides, Annie is a freak of nature, so maybe she really did just pull out some advanced tactic out of her ass to make Reiner look cooler. I don't know. So, final verdict, not plot armor. Moving on. I'm actually going to skip 2 seasons ahead here and talk about 2 scenes that take place in Season 4. The first one is the Declaration of War scene. You know, one of the most iconic scenes in the series. You know how Eren explodes out onto the stage, collapsing all the buildings around him? Yeah, so how did Reiner survive this? And you may be saying, well, Spencer, he is the armored Titan, so his armor just protected Falco and him from the explosion. But here's the thing, he wasn't transformed when Eren blew up. So you're telling me that in the split second when he realized what Eren was doing, he was able to transform, something that he had struggled with all season up to this point. He wanted nothing more than to die at this point in the series. So it was just pure instinct? Could have been, honestly. I mean, think about it, it wasn't exactly stated in the series, but I don't find it too far-fetched. In a sudden life or death situation, human instinct can take over. It's not out of the question that even in his weakened state, Reiner had the drive to protect Falco, which gave him the will to transform as he was ripped apart. That's the theory I like anyway. So no, I actually don't think this is plot armor. I can understand why some people call bullshit on this scene, but in my opinion there is a logical way to explain Reiner's survival here. Even in a weakened state like the Armored Titan was for most of Season 4, it's still heavily protected. All Reiner had to have happen to guarantee his survival was his instincts kicking in, and for someone who was trained from childhood in the art of war, I believe that is fully in the realm of possibility. Yes, Reiner had to survive here to keep the plot moving forward, but I don't think he was defying all forms of logic to do so here. It is perfectly in the realm of possibility for his instincts to kick in and force him to protect himself. I cannot say the same for the next scene. Here we have Reiner absorbed in the middle of the final battle when suddenly who else but the spirit of Bertholdt returns from the dead to personally kill Reiner. Despite Reiner's best efforts, he is grabbed and once again crushed like a grape, this time in Titan form. He is then thrown off the Founding Titan's back and sent hurtling toward the army of Colossals around them. So that's it. Bye-bye Reiner, right? Nope. Somehow, in the chaos, not only did Reiner survive getting crushed, he was also spared from falling to his doom by Jean. How? Is it plot armor? No, I actually don't think so. This is something even worse. There is no reason for Reiner to survive here. There is no plot left. This is just, I'm Isayama's special little boy, so I'm gonna survive here. That's what this is. To me, it reeks of, it's the final battle, I'm still alive somehow, and the mangaka loves me, so I might as well just survive at this point. Which, to be fair, I actually have no problem with. Everyone's got their favorites. As an author, I can relate to Isayama here. He said in interviews, and it's pretty clear that he loves Reiner, and he wanted him to survive. I have no problem with that. But man, this one's really hard to reason on a logical level. He's in his Titan form, yes, but his head literally got ripped off. The only explanation I can possibly fathom has to do with another bit of Reiner bullshit. The most clear-cut example, actually. But first, let's do a rapid-fire round. Season 2, Reiner gets shoved out of the way. Technically plot armor because if this doesn't happen, there is no Reiner Braun, but it really isn't because there just would be no character in the first place. Season 2 again, Mikasa almost decapitates Reiner. I'll get back to this later, but not plot armor. The Colossal Titan falls onto Reiner and Eren. Not plot armor, the Armor Titan can survive nukes. Season 2, one more time, Reiner and friends left for dead. Yeah, I honestly don't know how they survived this. I'd say this is definitely some sort of plot armor. Alright, so with that out of the way, let's get to the part we've all been waiting for. Look, I know it, and I'm pretty sure if you've seen the series, you know it too. There is one very, very, very clear example that gives Reiner his entire plot armor name. Let's get into it. Season 3, here we go. So let's set the scene, shall we? Retake Maria, you know all the jazz. Yeah, so the scouts want to get the jump on Reiner and pals, and once they find out where Reiner is hiding and draw him out, Levi pounces. Here it comes, Reiner's death! Oh, but one reminder. There's only one way to kill a Titan. Destroy the nape of its neck. So here comes Levi, ready to save the day. He stabs him. Directly in the nape of the neck. It's destroyed as far as I and Levi, mind you, can see. Look at Levi's face. He thought he killed him. Except, nope, not our Reiner. Apparently, this didn't destroy him, and this is where the final battle and the top of the wall scenes come back around. I guess Reiner just has some innate ability to avoid having his nape cut. Even in the most unlikely of situations, he has some kind of special ability that helps him just pull off the impossible. But anyway, what happens next? Well, Reiner transforms, of course, so the scouts have to try again. So here we are later in the battle. They've got Reiner cornered. Here come the rockets. Here goes the Reiner. And stop. Now, this looks like an unlivable situation, right? And it is, taking into account any sort of logical reasoning. But let's just see what happens. Boom. That's it. That has to be the end of Reiner. Come on now, we both know it isn't. Reiner survives. And how exactly did he survive? He transferred the impact throughout his entire body to protect the nerves in his neck? Okay, well, is there any sort of precedent to that? Is there anything that shows that anyone, Reiner included, could survive that? No, there isn't. There has been no mention, no foreshadowing, not even a hint that anyone could do this. And no one can. No one except for Reiner, Plot Armor Braun, who finally gets to live up to his name for the first time in this video. Because no matter how long you look at this, it doesn't make sense for anyone to survive this in the context of Attack on Titan unless the plot demands it. No one, not even Reiner, shows that they can do the nerve thing ever again. It is literally just pulled out in this fight so Reiner can survive it and make it to Season 4. That fits all the definitions of plot armor. There you have it. So what have we learned today? Does Reiner Braun have plot armor? Well, yes, but it's mostly concentrated in that one Season 3 battle. The rest of it, I'd say, is far more him suffering from being Isayama's favorite character. And I say suffering, but he's only really suffering in his perception to the fans. He survived. So for him, there is no suffering that, well, there was a lot of suffering, but there is no suffering in the end, because he survived. And to be honest, I still like Reiner. I mean, yeah, he has the power of bullshit on his side sometimes, but overall, he's still a very well-written character. But it's still bullshit, don't get me wrong, and that's why I want to take a look at it, just to see a few examples and see what I thought about him. And I'd love to hear what you think too. So in the comments, let me know if there's any moments I forgot or just anything you want to add. But I think you've heard enough out of me. Let's give the mic to someone else. Hit it. And now the moment you've all been waiting for. Live from on top of Wall Maria, it's Spencer on Air. Welcome to the very first episode of Spencer on Air, the only show where you get the answers you need to hear so you don't get sheared. I am, of course, your ever-brilliant host, Spencer, and folks, today we have a very special guest for you. Sources say he's had a very personal experience with Reiner Braun. Please welcome at this time, the one, the only, Eren Yeager! How are you doing today, Eren?
Well, you know how it is. With 80% of humanity gone, things are kind of quiet around here.
Wonderful, wonderful. Now, as I have heard, you have a personal experience with Reiner Braun. Is that correct?
Well, that's one way to put it. Bastard tried to kill me 7 times.
That's great, that's great. Now, why don't you tell our fine audience here all about your experiences with Reiner Braun? I'm sure they'd love to—
Sure, whatever you say. So, listen, you want to know what my biggest problem with Reiner Braun is? It's the fact that no matter how many times we fought each other, he just had to get a little bit of offense in. It's not fair! I don't know about you, but if I heard of a Titan called the Armored Titan, I wouldn't exactly think of a fighting style full of rampaging offense. That's my thing! I'm the Attack Titan! There's no conceivable reason why the Armored Titan should be out fighting the Attack Titan! If he's gonna beat me, it should be with stout defense. Not that he should beat me anyway, mind you.
I can think of a pretty good reason. Plot armor!
You know, I used to doubt the claims. I thought to myself, I'm the main character. I should have the plot armor, not Reiner. Then we got to the finale. I literally threw the soul of his deceased best friend at him, and instead of dying, he gets saved by Captain Levi, literally crippling himself. It's bullshit! All I wanted to do was conclude his character arc with a satisfying death. Is that so hard to—
Did somebody say death? Eren, do you need me to kill someone?
Mikasa, what? I mean, kinda. But wait, no! Me and this weird-looking dude on the screen were just talking about the fact that Reiner should have died a long time ago.
Oh, you're talking about that death-defying freak, are you? Well, listen here, because I've got a bone to pick with him. Back on the wall in Season 2, I nearly decapitated him, yet he shrugged it off like it was nothing. I was sure I had killed him. Next thing you know, he trucks me off the wall, and suddenly I'm staring up at him posing like he's the main character. And he's not, by the way. I'll have you know that not a single person in this entire world could ever match—
Okay, miss, we get it. But in a rare defense of Reiner, and believe me, it's the first time I've ever doing this, nearly decapitating someone isn't decapitating them, you know. He did block your—
Oh, so you think I'm weak, is that it?
What? No, I was just—
How about I do the same thing to you, huh? I'll cut you. I swear it.
I apologize. I meant no disrespect. I think it's honorable that you defend your husband, like—
Did you hear that, Eren? That small-looking Titan guy just called you my husband?
Mikasa, please don't start this again.
At least someone thinks you should put a ring on my finger.
For the last time, I'm a severed head. How on earth do you expect me to do that?
That's just an excuse, and you know it!
I have no hands!
Thank you so much for checking out this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a like and let me know if you did. A very special thanks to Yapixx and AceHeart for their work as the VAs for Eren and Mikasa. It's always a joy to work with them. Please check out their links in the description and give them your support. Until next time, this is Spencer on Air, signing off.